Hi guys, thank you for joining me on this video. This is my new tank build. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy. These are just a few little pictures. I changed the filter and I've changed the heater. I painted the background black and I used some rocks that I found and cleaned them up with some bleach. First of all, what I'm doing is starting off with the moss, so just simply peel back the packet. So you want to take out your moss. This is from the Tropica's 1-2 grow range. Tropica are my favourite brand to use for plants, so I mainly have been using them. So first of all, just scrape off all this gel that is in. This is what keeps the plant alive and fed whilst it's in the shop. So you want to take it over to some water and just wash off as much of that gel as you possibly can. Make sure that when you're going to glue moss onto wood or rocks that you're using cyanoacetate super glue. So you just want a little bit of that on the wood and that will stick your moss to it. So when super gluing the wood, you want to just use like a tiny little bit, place it where you want, and then grab your moss and attach it. I find it easier when the moss and the wood are both slightly damp, not soaking wet, but just a little damp, and I find that the glue adheres straight away when it touches water. So there's no real need to hold, get your fingers sticky or anything like that. And that's when the wood is finished with the moss. This will grow out over time. I'm also adding some Anubis to this wood. So I have the Nana Petite, the Anubis Barteri, which is quite a large Anubis, so be careful where you plant those, but they will definitely become much more of a centerpiece or a feature piece for the wood. I'm also sticking the little pieces on all over the place so that when they grow out eventually they will attach themselves to the wood, but at first I will be super gluing them to the wood. So first what you want to do to prepare your Anubis ready to be glued on is you want to take it out of the pot, separate the rock walls, usually in two halves, and you want to remove as much of that as you possibly can. So pull it off with your hands and your fingers, get your nails right in there. Don't worry about the roots, Anubis have quite tough roots anyway. I also have some planting tweezers which I will be using to really get in the roots and scrape off as much of the rock wall as possible. With the moss, it's the same procedure, just use a little bit of the same super glue. Make sure that you're sticking the rhizome part of Anubis, which is the green thick stem at the base just above the roots. You want to stick that directly to the wood and then your roots will grow into the wood when they grow. I also trimmed them just a little bit just to give them a heads up on growing. So when you're finished, this is what it will look like. I've stuck my Anubis in all different places and the moss on, and now I'm just placing my nutrient soil. You can use any kind of aquarium soil for this, so the beads will give a good base for your stem plants to root into. Spread out the soil evenly, make sure you're covering everywhere that you want to with your aquarium soil. Just using my soil right where the wood piece is. I'm not covering the whole of the tank. I just want it over here for now, just where I'm planting my stem plants. Now I've taken Tropica's nutrient capsules, I've split them in half, and I've taken all the little beads out and I put them in this little jar, which I am sprinkling onto the soil just so that it gives a bit more of a spread coverage instead of just selectively planting the root tabs in. This helps me a lot. I find that this covers all of the soil and not just specific areas. Next, I'm capping all of this with some black sand. I have chosen to use Aquarium black sand because I like the darker substrate, although this isn't exactly pitch black, it's sort of more of a dark grey, but it's definitely giving off the right effect that I want for this tank, as I like dark backgrounds and dark substrates generally. Now I'm spraying everything down, and it's really important to make sure that you do spray down regularly if you're planting. You don't want your moss or your Anubis to dry out. And I'm also making sure that the soil and the sand are wet and compact, ready for the stem plants so that they've got something to hold into. This is just a selection of the plants that I'm using. These are mainly from Tropica's plant range, and then a couple just bunches from my local fish store. So I'm starting off with my Amazon swords, and I'm doing my back high tall plants. So these will grow a lot larger than this. These get massive, and I can't wait for that, because where this is a big tank, it's going to need a big back of plants. Next, I'm just adding in the rest of my stem plants, and then I'm basically finished. And then here is when I finished the tank. I filled it up, and I know there's 2 huge cable ties sticking out, but they will be gone, don't worry. I'm not adding fish just yet. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you click subscribe and like the video. Leave any comments for suggestions and tips and advice, because I'm still learning just as much.